Nicola Sturgeon is a wounded bear who is on the brink of an election disaster that would scupper her dream of an independent Scotland, Andrew Neil has said. The heavyweight journalist and former editor of The Times, who is preparing to launch his GB News television channel, believes Scotland's First Minister has been badly damaged by her handling of the investigation into sexual harassment claims against her predecessor, Alex Salmond. And he predicted she could even walk away from the job in the event of a disappointing showing in May's Holyrood elections. Mrs. Sturgeon is under significant pressure after a leaked report by a cross-party group of MSPs narrowly concluded she had misled the Scottish Parliament with an inaccurate account of her meetings with Salmond in 2018 during evidence on oath earlier this month. Specifically, they called into question her insistence she had never indicated to Mr. Salmond that she would intervene in an internal inquiry into his behavior. Mr. Neil, writing for the Daily Mail, said, Nicola Sturgeon, until recently the unassailable Queen of Scots, mistress of all she surveyed, has morphed into a wounded bear, lashing out in foul and angry mood at any and all who dare to challenge her. Sturgeon is on the ropes and her natural instinct is to strike out at all who assail her. It is not a pretty sight. Such was the change in Mrs. Sturgeon's political fortunes. Some pro-union politicians publicly calling for her head were privately hoping she's staying in her job, Mr. Neil said. He explained, they think the fallout from the Salmond-Sturgeon civil war has turned her into a liability who could scupper the SNP's hopes of an overall majority. In the wake of Brexit, the stakes for the future of the United Kingdom could not be higher, Mr. Neil stressed, with Mrs. Sturgeon having publicly stated her determination to use the Holyrood elections as a springboard for a second Scottish independence reference. He added, it is by no means certain that Boris Johnson would grant Sturgeon a second referendum even if she still managed to win an overall majority. But it is certain that without such a majority the chances of a second referendum any time soon would be zero, kicking the SNP's dream of Scottish separation into the long grass and securing the Union for the foreseeable future.